All right, guys. Well, I'm back today with one of the nicest high-value double-stack 1911s or 2011s I've ever had out to the channel. Today, we are looking at the brand new Mac 9 DS comp version with the 5-inch barrel and optics cut, and this is all thanks to Battlehawk Armory. Without Battlehawk's support, it'd be really difficult to continue to produce reviews like this, and you've seen a lot of the Military Armament Corporation firearms on the channel, and a lot of those have been thanks to Battlehawk Armory, so a huge shout out to these guys. We're going to be talking about the specs and features of this brand new comp Mac 9 DS, as well as how it performed down at the range, and I've actually had a lot of time recently behind some new 2011s as well as some ultra premium 2011s, and I'm going to talk a little bit how it stacks up with those. You'll kind of be surprised, especially at the price point. And starting with the price point, it's right at $1,000, which is insane when you consider what is included and how it functions. But let's talk about starting at the front and working our way to the back. And one of the most obvious things is going to be the comp. The comp is built into the slide itself, but it's actually large enough and cut out enough to be insanely functional down at the range. I think a lot of times comps on different pistols really depend on how well they work with the platform itself and how well they're designed. And this one is incorporated very nicely into the barrel and then into the slide itself, making a seamless transition and really doing a good job. We'll talk a little bit more about the shootability in the performance section of the review. They also offer this with the Mac 9 DS with, I believe, the 4.25-inch barrel, but in my opinion, the 5-inch is the way to go. When you're talking about a competition handgun like this, and that's what this is honestly designed for, competition and target use, you might as well go for that longer barrel, longer sight radius, and just overall slightly more weight in the frame itself, making that just that much better for recoil impulse. Now, attached to all of that is going to be the slide itself and barrel itself, and this is, again, the 5-inch barrel version. Now, I like the 5-inch barrel version. You may like the 4.25, but both of them are going to be made out of the 4140 hammer forged steel barrels, and then they are going to have a really nice compensator located on the end of that. So it's just an incredibly nice barrel that Mac is using, or at least importing, in their guns. The other cool thing about that slide is it's got a really nice taper to the front right there, slide serrations and slide lightning cuts, so you can rack that slide, press checks. It also has really nice slide serrations on the back, and the slide is machined incredibly nice. Love the looks of it, love the fit and finish. No complaints about that slide at all. They've got the blacked out sights, and they're also kind of like suppressor heights, so you can co-witness with that optic. Now, I say suppressor heights, you're not throwing a suppressor on there because no threaded barrel, but it does co-witness really nice with this optic. If you're wondering what the optic is, this is a really nice competition SRO style optic from Sealy, the Chameleon SR S8. I've got a full review on this as well as some codes if you want to check it out, but I love that optic, and it's a perfect pairing with this competition style firearm. And getting to that, the optics cut actually utilizes a plate that's included in the bag, and that plate is good for RMR cuts, which is, in my opinion, what should be on most platforms nowadays. I feel like there's the best selection for RMR optics, and this one does a good job of mounting up flush, mounting up rock solid, and having that included in the package. And having that optics cut is perfect for a comp gun like this. It just works out, again, so perfectly down at the range, especially with that co-witness of the iron sights. Now let's talk about the frame itself. The frame on here is super nice, and this is going to be a carbon steel frame and slide with the Tenefer QPQ finish, so it's going to have exceptional corrosion resistance and durability over the long term. Now, the other cool thing about that is this is a full dust cover 2011, and you only have one rail in there, which makes it look freaking sweet. It also adds weight in the frame, which is what I like to see, because the weight in the frame is helping you with recoil management. Weight in the slide is not helping you with recoil management. So the fact that it's got reduced lightning cuts allows the reciprocating mass to be low, but the stable mass, or the mass that's not moving in the frame, to be heavy, helping you with recoil impulse. So I love that. It's almost like hanging a weight out front. Honestly, a lot of competition shooters will add lights to the front of their handguns that are heavy, specifically to increased non-reciprocating mass to help reduce the recoil impulse. So they've got that really heavy dust cover in the front, which does a good job. Now, it's not overly heavy where it pulls the muzzle down while you're sitting there, and it's not uncomfortable. It's very nimble and handy to use, but a nice touch right there. Flat trigger guard, decent grip module. I believe these are swappable, so if you do have other grip modules you like, those are great. Safety on this guy is amazing. Now, I actually just tried some more premium 1911s, and this safety engages and disengages better than any of those. I was just really impressed with how well that worked. I didn't feel like I was going to accidentally bump it on or bump it off, but the minute I wanted it off, it was there. You can ride your thumb over the top. The beaver tail does a good job protecting your hand from slide bite, and that skeletonized hammer did a good job as well. Mag release is pretty good. This one comes with two 17-round Tysus mags. They drop free. They insert smooth. Really nice tapered magwell right there. Really good grip texture. You don't have to worry about hitting that beaver tail, or not the beaver tail, the added safety, the grip safety in the grip module itself. It just presses in nice. It's super comfortable. Now, the trigger on this guy is really nice, and when you take it out of the box, it takes a couple mags to break in, but once it breaks in, man, this thing is amazing. Super smooth direct back pull, crisp break. The reset is short, audible, tactile, followed up by another crisp break. That trigger on that guy is great. Now, is it the best trigger I've ever felt on a 2011? No, there are some better ones, but the guns are costing twice the price, at least twice the price. And this does an amazing job, and it is really good and better than most 1911 triggers out there, so absolutely no complaints. And then another thing on this that they just absolutely killed was the slide stop and slide release lever. This thing is just boom, hit it and you are back in. I mean, that thing works out so well. Another thing I want to mention is mag compatibility. We were actually using a lot of the Checkmate magazines, and Checkmate actually sent these out for us to do a couple of demos on and talk a little about them, and it just happened to co-witness perfectly with this video, so I want to mention these really quick. 19-round steel mags, and each Checkmate magazine is 100% developed and manufactured in the US. They're also backed by a lifetime factory warranty, and they just work, and it was no different in this gun. They also, it's pretty cool because they make mags for 1911s, M1As, M14s, Beretta 92s, M9s, and the list goes on, and they're already making a ton of magazines for other companies as OEM magazines, as some of the most popular brands for years. So it's just really cool they sent these out to the channel. I'll be doing an update video with these in the future, but this has worked incredibly well in this platform, and it's nice to have some US mags in here with those couple extra rounds, the 19-round magazine. So those worked great, and love the overall function of this gun. Now we've talked about the specs and features and the mag compatibility. Let's talk a little bit about reliability, and this was 100% functional after the first mag. The first mag I had loaded up to the max. I think the second round in, it barely wanted to feed, almost didn't go into the battery, tapped it in the battery, ran the rest of that mag, and from there, it was 100% functional. And that is actually pretty rare for the 2011s that I've had out to the range. They most of the time work, or the ones I've shot and T&E'd, and as they get dirty and they kind of start to fail on you a little bit. I'm going to be honest, I've had a lot of 2011s that haven't been the most premium when it comes to reliability, or at least some that I've tested down at the range, but this one was 100% functional out of that first mag bobble, and honestly, that was really just kind of like a break-in of the gun. Like, the slide smoothed up right after that first few mags, the trigger smoothed up right after the first few mags, and everything about this gun just felt right after a first few mags, and it ran like a sewing machine. Again, insanely reliable, especially for a 2011s. You'll see horror stories about some not cycling certain types of ammo or being very ammo picky. Mine worked great, and I want to give a huge shout out to AAC Ammo for sponsoring the ammo to help make this video. Again, without their support, it'd be really difficult. We ran a lot of the 115 grain 9mm through the Mac. The previous Mac that I had, and this particular one, we have done a 2011 before, the non-comped 4-inch version, and that ran great, but 147, 124, and 115 grain worked perfectly, and I honestly put too many rounds through this thing because it was just a blast to shoot, and you can dump mags so quick. The recoil impulse, it's like deleted. Like, just recoil delete, This thing manages the recoil insanely well, very comparable with top tier comped 1911s. I've shot a lot of STIs. I've shot some of the staccatos. I've even shot the new what is it, the Sand Viper, and this manages the recoil just as well as all of those. I mean, there's no difference between the recoil management of this and some of those top tier ones. Now, you do get a more refined feel with some of those other ones. You do get a lighter slide recoil when it comes to actually racking the slide and stuff, but I believe a lot of those parts are interchangeable, so you can do that on this one if you wanted to, but it functioned great down at the range. No real need to change anything. Double taps are a breeze. Transitioning from targets was a breeze. This thing was absolutely amazing, especially keeping in mind the price point of this versus its competitors. If you wanted to wade into the double stack 2011 fields, especially with a competition and comped gun, this is going to be hard to beat. I mean, honestly, this is truly going to be hard to beat when it comes to the reliability, the performance, the mag compatibility, the parts compatibility, the RMR cut, all of this for that price. It's really nice. And again, a huge shout out to Battlehawk Armory for making this possible. Again, most of the MAC guns that I've been trying have been coming from Battlehawk, so a huge thanks to these guys. I appreciate them. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Have you been getting into these lately? I'm really interested. Thanks for watching. Have a good one.